All right, Chelsea fans, welcome back to another episode of the London is Blue podcast. As your host, Brandon Joe, my co-host, Nick and Dan. And gentlemen, we am back. How is it going? It feels weird to be here, but good to be here, Dan.
You came back for a banger. I mean, you picked the perfect time to come back for a pod. You said, you know what? I'm not going to make it for the Burnley game. I'm going to come in for this Manchester United one. I'm going to get a good result to talk about. And lo and behold, he got exactly what he was hoping for, Nick.
Yeah. I mean, some call it strategic, some call it a little shithouse, whatever you calling it at home. Good to have you back, young man. How is fatherhood? How's it going? It's been about 3.5 weeks since we've last seen you on this here pod.
I mean, it's probably 4 because he's just over 3 weeks now, and there's I don't know. We had to get ready, but no, it has been great. It has been fun, and we are tired. It is a big and in there, but we are adjusting and adapting as best we can. And so, yeah, look, I waited till the end result. I wasn't going to text you guys at 2-3 or anything like that about what time was the pod. I waited until it was 4-3 to see what time you're all rocking tonight. And so, back at it, we are. Friendly reminder. We are a part of the Men in Blazers Media Network, which we're super excited about. But Dan, let's go ahead and kick it off with the 3-word match review. The people have to be buzzing.
They do. Claire with a little alliteration and starts off with mayhem, maelstrom, madness. 3 M words to talk about Manchester United's terrible defeat for them. Tyson with, excuse me, what? I think that's how all of us felt at the very end of the game. Chelsea FC USA, you might have heard them before. Cole Palmer legend. Maybe that's accurate. Tracks for me. Kate with the surprising, superb stoppage. Craig with the hat King Cole. Absolutely unforgettable. Megan with Chelsea overcome calamity. Pillow with the almost had us. The Vin Diesel, you almost had me line from the movie. Fantastic. Techie Tiger with the higher defensive coordinator. We could use one of those. And then Simon with what I think all of us saw from the videos of fans in the stands afterwards, limbs.
Well, I mean, you missed an important one, Dan. The one that I thought was the best. From Robert Hoon Coulter.
God.
Chelsea mounts comeback.
There were some
wordplay all you want. That one... Boom. That one hit home. That was nice.
There were a couple that were a little more unsavory that featured the word mount in it that we will not feature in this podcast.
No. You can go look at those by yourself. But yeah, that one I thought was also very good. I did really enjoy, which one was it? Hat King Cole as well. That was tremendous.
Well, as many limbs as we did get to see, which was quite crazy. Nick, what did you go with?
Just how I felt at the end was a confluence of emotions. So I didn't know how to feel. I kind of just laughed when the winner went in. I was so up, and then I was so down, and then I just didn't know how to feel. So I think a lot of people could probably resonate.
Very, very much so. I'll share what my feelings were in a little bit before we got the winner. Dan, what about you?
About damn time, because it has been a long time coming for Chelsea to beat this stupid effing Manchester United side. It was 2020 in the FA Cup when we won 3-1, and it was 2017 in the league when we last beat them. Like, that is been so long. It's been so many dumb draws and unlucky victories to the United team that this was just so cathartic. I don't care how we got it. Getting this one across the line felt so fucking good.
You heard on the telecast, they're like, the last time we beat them was the Aspi to Morata header for 1-0 over them in Conte's second season.
That's a Cispilicueta era.
I know. I couldn't even believe it because I remember that goal like it was yesterday. It was such a beautiful goal, but I was like, that surely can't be the last time we beat them in the league. It was.
That's gross. And it's not like they've been flying either, winning titles.
No, they've been terrible.
Oh, funny. I put United got Chelsea'd. I mean, come on. How many times have we seen that this season? The other way around. So guess what, United? And they talked about how much luck and fortune they've had all season, which they've had an insane amount. It's about time. You got Chelsea. Enjoy it. All right. As always, we would appreciate if you would throw us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell icon as we continue to grow that. And then the London is Blue Dispatch, our weekly newsletter. If audio content is enough for you and video content isn't, go get the written word from Sam, CFC Central. And then lastly, Discord is a paid way to make some Chelsea friends. Quickest way to make 500 of your best friends for just a few bucks a month. But let us jump into it now. It was Manchester United this past Thursday, the 4th of April in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. And in case you missed it, scoreline Chelsea 4, United 3. So many goals. Nick, would you do me a solid as I get back my fitness and run us through 7 goals?
He's a little rusty here, folks. He's catching his breath. Don't worry about it. I got you, big dog. I got you. Deep breath. In the 4th minute, Conor Gallagher scuffs one across the line underneath Onana, which was comedy in and of itself. In the 19th minute, Cole Palmer, after a, let's be honest, pretty dumb soft penalty, slots it home. In the 34th minute, Garnacho off of the dumbest back pass we've seen in some time. Fernandez from a Dallo cross in the 39th minute. The 67th minute, Garnacho again on a breakaway. Stupidity ensues. Antony getting his first goal contribution of the season. You knew it had to come against us because of reasons. Someone said we got an Antony goal contribution before GTA 6. Tough look for GTA 6, we have to admit. And then I don't even know how to say these numbers in a way that isn't hilarious. In the 90th plus 10 minute, Cole Palmer with another, let's be honest, pretty soft penalty. And in the 90th plus 11 minute, right after that, Enzo Fernandez with a very charitable assist to Cole Palmer, who bangs it in off of McTominay's arm and past Onana. It was wild. It was stupid. Our friend Andrew McDougall left the game before it was over. This is why you don't do that. But he was honest about it. He was honest, and I appreciate honesty. He could have easily said, "Oh no, I was there. It's great," but no, honesty matters. And pandemonium is the only way I can put it. After the Cole Palmer winner goes in, limbs. Our whole bench was on the fucking field. 10 yellow cards, I think, happened after that. I don't even know what happened, but it was hilarious. And damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
Big day, to say the least. All those goals, 7, and they throw in the stat about how we're like scoring, conceding all the way around. Dan, hit us with the lineup of what allowed us to get to that end result today.
Look, it was Petrovic between the sticks. Not his best day out on record. Malo Gusto did make fitness, and he was in the back line with Axel Disasi, Benoit Badiashile, and Marc Cucurella, which is not anybody's first choice back defense by any way, means, shape, or form. Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, and Conor Gallagher were your midfield, and Mykhailo Mudryk, Cole Palmer, with a perfect 10, according to SofaScore, 2 matches in a row, and Nico Jackson were your attackers to start. And look, Pochettino said, you know what? I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to use all 5 subs today.
Hold on.
All 5 subs. That's right. It was Raheem Sterling and Carney Chukwuemeka who came in the 71st minute for Mykhailo Mudryk and Moises Caicedo. Trev Chalobah and Alfie Gilchrist, the double center back substitution in the 75th minute for Disasi and Gusto. And then Nana Madueke came in the 89th minute for a very crucial impact to the game to win a penalty. So very, very nice to see, as relates to the lineup, that he went into the full extent of the bench that he could go into.
I legitimately, Brandon, was like, oh, cool. The 89th minute. Excellent. Way to put him on. Tremendous. And then 7 minutes later, he's winning the game-tying penalty and actually kind of looked bright when he was in there. I was pretty happy about it, but I was so dejected at that point. I was like, why not earlier? Why not give the kid a chance to do something? And he goes and does something.
All the subs coming after the third goal for United, right? So they're all reactionary. If you look at the bench, he used pretty much everyone that you would expect, right? Like maybe a Thiago Silva over Trevo. But again, I think the writing is on the wall there with Silva, which you guys have talked about, especially with Matt and kind of his future. So with that sense, he threw them all out there. 89th minute, usually that's when you're in the lead, right? You're just wasting time riding one out. But, credit to Noni for getting involved and finding a way, albeit a bit lucky that Dallo tripped over his own feet and fell into him. But he still had beaten him and forced that defender into scrambling. And that's what definitely helped. So some of the top line stats here, pretty aggressive on Chelsea's favor with 3.07 XG on the day to United's 1.57. So again, they scored 3 off 1.57. We scored 4 off 3.04. We had 56% possession. We had 28 shots, 10 on target. United had 19 shots with 5 on target. And then from there, we had 3 yellow cards to their 0, which again, how they escaped the caution all match, I mean, is quite fascinating. But the big chances, we had 4 created, we missed 2 and converted 2. All right, not bad, 50%. What is annoying, though, again, to that XG that we said for United, they had 3 big chances and buried every single one of them, which is quite lucky in the way things are breaking for us this season. And then lastly, neither goalkeeper really did much to, prevent goals, as they were both negative. So nothing to put there. But Dan did have 2, not 1, but 2 random stats, both from @OptaJoe. The first one saying 99-17. Manchester United were leading in this game at 99-17. The latest a side has ever led in a Premier League match that they've gone on to lose. Collapse.
10 hogs.
And then they said 139. Cole Palmer's hat trick goal for Chelsea tonight, timed at 100 minutes and 39 seconds, was the latest winning goal on record since 06-07, when they started keeping track, in a Premier League game. Mayhem. Unbelievable. End pet shithouse moment of the match. Follow it up.
Yeah, look, there's a lot to take out of this. Conor Gallagher got stuck in a few times tonight that I desperately appreciated, but I think the shithouse moment of the match goes to Cole Palmer after scoring the first penalty. He's been hearing a lot of talking from the United fans who are in the shed, gives them a little talkie, gives them a little shushy, does the Cole celebration. Malo Gusto right next to him doing it. It was excellent, truly excellent. And then after the winner, of course, the whole fucking bench on the field is it's hilarious. And the referee having to go over to the bench that's barely like filled back in and start just pointing yellow cards. I don't even know who they were for. I don't know if we got that at the end.
Pretty sure Caicedo got one. I feel like I saw Caicedo like standing up wondering, like, what you mean me? I got one?
I was just praying it wasn't Jackson for his 10th. I was just praying. I was like, no, please, no. But at any rate, that was kind of the shithouse moment. I thought there was so much in this game between both these idiot teams. They're so idiot teams. And we got an idiot match. That was exactly what happened.
Yes, absolutely. Which gives us much to talk about, which we will do right after the break. So thank you to the sponsors, and we'll be right back. Okay, Chelsea's 3 constants: chaos, calamity, and Cole Palmer. Well written, Dan. Reliving that, how are we feeling about the performance? Because I was getting ready to text the group that like Pochettino and the
couldn't
club,
make it tonight.
Well,
so sick.
Thankfully that was already planned. But it was getting to the point where like Poch and the club need to tell us explicitly why we should still be supporting this team. Like, it is abysmal. Nothing can go right. Absolutely nothing. And to go down the way we did, or was about to, it just, to me, it was like, it was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for me. But Nick, it resurrected itself in the most unbelievable fashion. I'm holding my newborn son. My wife is finally woken up from her nap, and she's now engaged in the match. And it was just pandemonium at the end. And again, VAR taking as long as they could on that second pen to try to disregard it, so they didn't have to, have these late theatrics.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, how was holding the kid and celebrating? Have you figured out a good posture?
Was there a handoff?
Yeah. Like what was
should have been. definitely should have been, but no, he was secured. It was definitely probably a little bit concerning from his perspective in hindsight, though.
The Tiki Barber high and tight lock. That's good. I'll be honest with you. I mean, this is good, bad, and ugly all over it. I thought that we started bright. Obviously, then I think probably for me the lowest point of the season was giving up that third goal to them. There's been a lot of low points, but United are very bad. Like Dan and Sam broke down how bad they are really in the preview, and it's comical that they are ahead of us in the league. It's comical that they are probably going to get Europa League this year. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they are so underperforming in every category. They are so easy to play against much of the time. And for 70 minutes of this match, if we're very honest with ourselves, we were dramatically worse than them. And that, I mean, we have to be honest about that. And then we resurrected it with 30 good minutes of play, 20 in the first half and 10 in extra time, basically. Like, that was it. So, I mean, that chart where it's like, oh, Chelsea are playing, oh, this is terrible, and oh, cool, we won. That was basically this game. That was the exact proportions on the chart. I don't know if this is good or bad. Like, obviously beating United's good, but like the performances the last two games have been just tough, man. Really tough.
It's good. It is unequivocally a good thing that we beat Manchester United. It is unequivocally a good thing that for many young players who don't have experience playing for Chelsea and playing in big matches in any capacity, even against a terrible United side and being in one of the worst Chelsea sides in recent memory, getting an opportunity to do that at home in front of the fans to secure that at the end, objectively a good developmental experience for everything, for them as well. And like in the microcosm of this season, where we have had to endure a lot of really crap results and still will endure through the remainder of this season a lot of really crap football, this is a very, very good end result, which is the opposite of what we've seen against Burnley, against Wolves, that really have not painted this side or given the sporting directors, the manager, the players, the ownership a platform to say, hey, look, we actually have improved. We are a better side now. Because like that is not true. To objectively put that out into the world right now is not a true statement. But what we can say is that this could get us one step closer to actually qualifying on league place for some type of European football. And we say this every week, that if we could only get out of our own way occasionally, we would be in a top 6 spot already. We would be in a top 7 spot already, right next to Manchester United, ready to pip them for that spot. And so I think in general, like regardless of stupid passes, of individual errors, of the defense collapsing because players aren't healthy or we're not playing our best choice options, I can't be anything other than like happy with like the net outcome and just want to be like, I'm going to trash the 70 minutes of terrible football and just say like, take the 20 to 30 minutes that were really good and focus on like replicating that as much as possible for the rest of the season.
Well, there's still a lot to do in that category. So it's like from the result standpoint, I'm stunned. Like I'm still in disbelief that we got that result. Talking about those bright spots, right? Like getting those goals early on, I was like, good, team's up for it. Here we go. But the problem still is like, oh, we've had leads and blown them before many times this season. And again, then you go into halftime 2-2. And that's where it really just, I think as fans, like the wheels start to fall off for us. Cause it's like, why would we have any trust that this team is going to turn it around? Kind of like what we've been talked about. And so, and then to even like have that giveaway to go down, like I said, guys, I was done. I was over it, but we had so much more, thankfully, left in the tank that I just can't believe it. And we are just so dependent on Cole Palmer. I think that is a huge concern, but this defense, there were times when Sanchez was on a run of shutouts. Petrovic has had some shutouts. This defense is a shell of a proper Premier League defense, and is the number one problem for this team right now. I know injuries kind of make it a little bit concerning, but Gusto made it through, thank God. I think Cucurella played pretty well with all things being considered, but then you kind of look at those center backs, and that's still, I think, the big wobbly concern is who are our best center backs. And I know, Nick, you talked to Matt about that of like, hey, name your best 11. You guys are still talking about without injuries, Fofana, but we don't have him. Thiago's still on the bench, other injuries. This seems to be what we've got for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, the game really turns on its head out of nowhere because Caicedo plays a ridiculously poor pass to Badiashile, who is, for reasons to yet be explained, ahead of him in play. So if you're thinking about the way the pass is, Caicedo is actually deeper than Badiashile is, and the ball goes straight across. And because Badiashile's more advanced up the field, he can't catch up to Garnacho. And this is after a period of play where we are absolutely dominating them. They looked hilarious. They United looked so bad at the beginning that Lee Dixon was being complimentary to us on the commentary. Like he circled on a replay how much just light jogging Casemiro was doing in the middle of midfield. Like he was just kind of walking around. He's like, there's no effort, there's no drive, there's no determination. Bam, out of nowhere, we give them a goal. We literally give them a goal. And then, of course, they get a second one because the minute that something bad happens to this team, they are completely inept. They completely go into their shells. They get scared. And I don't even know how to describe the level of stupidity that we saw in those like 5 minutes, Dan, but it was ridiculous. Like we started off so well. They were so bad. And out of nowhere, out of nothing, for no reason whatsoever, they're back.
I mean, it comes back to the fact that this Chelsea side struggles to retain possession. I mean, I think that's really the reason why. And when you see us skate towards more of the 65 or 70 or 75%, if we can get up into those higher, like 70 plus range for total possession, like this side feels more comfortable. This side likes to play with the ball. They don't like necessarily what we saw today, which was the open, let's let both sides run at each other. Let's be a little bit more free flowing. We just don't have the individuals who have the necessary Premier League experience to say, you know what, I need to slow down here. I need to recycle this. Yes, I want to go for some individual heroics. I want to turn the game around. I want to kind of try to claw this back quickly. I mean, when you look at the average age of the two sides, you're talking about a Chelsea side that playing today, 23 and a half years old. You're looking at a United side, 26.1. I mean, a much more experienced Premier League side, or at least professional footballing side as it relates to who was on the pitch today for United versus who was on the pitch today for Chelsea. And so like that is, we just don't have those players in this side, in this makeup. And so I think that is a reoccurring issue and will only improve in two ways. One, over time with experience. Like this was a good net experience at the end of being able to win in stoppage time and get the result. But then through the addition this summer of some level of senior players who have a little more experience, whether that is at the Premier League level or in a comparable league at a higher level with a little bit more of a resume than this is my second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year of performing at a high level internationally versus this is my first season being counted on as a full-time starter, Brandon.
I mean, the age is nothing to scoff about. Who was talking about it? I think it was someone post-match, right? They were talking about how maybe it's Poch. They're like probably the youngest senior team in Europe, right? And usually that's someone in France or Germany where they're, building to a team to sell, right? They're a selling club. It ain't Chelsea. But looking at United, guys, they're a -1 goal difference, which means they were at a 0 going in today, and they're in 6th place. Like, again, how this team has somehow strategically used their goals to only gain points is wild, right? And they are on 48 points, and we're on 43 points with a game in hand. So best case scenario, things go well, we win the game in hand. do we feel like on this season we're 2 points behind them on the tip? I would probably say no, to be quite honest with you, because the way that we've mismanaged matches all season, I'm understandably like, yeah, we're a mid-table team. United have had that cutting edge, albeit infrequently, but when it's been really crucial and they needed it to get some results. But they've also lost 3 of the last 5. They've only won 1 of their last 5. So they're definitely not an informed team. It's a little bit crazy to think, Nick, we haven't lost in our last 5. We're undefeated in 5. Right? Going to it was Sheffield United coming up. Could we make it 6? Problem is 3 of those are draws. We're never getting enough points to actually climb up the table, although 10th awkwardly feels pretty good right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you steal one today and it feels better than buying it, that's for sure. I don't know, man. I think this is the weakest the Premier League has been in some time, in terms of just overall quality. I think a lot of the matches are pretty bad to watch for the most part. I think there have been teams who have overachieved for sure. Your Wolves of the world, your Bournemouths of the world, your Villas of the world, those sorts of teams who are not typically where they are in the table. I think there are teams like Chelsea and United and, take your pick of the mid to Newcastle and stuff like that who have dramatically underachieved. And it's just, in this season, it's why I said what I said on the Monday pod. If you string 3 or 4 games to 3 or 4 wins together, which Chelsea used to do for fun, you'd easily be in 7th, 6th place easily, because no one else around is winning consistently either. Like, we've been within 2 points of Newcastle for what, 3.5 months now? I mean, haven't been able to leapfrog him. Every opportunity that we've had, we've failed at and have stayed in 10th or 11th. Like, that one fleeting moment we got up to 8th and then someone else played and we were back down to 10th. That felt good for a minute in February, but yeah, it was it's just the weirdest league I've seen in some time.
You have the path though, and like we have a path to, if we can control our results, which is the biggest underline, bold, italicized, if possible, in size 64 impact font. Like, you have Sheffield, you've got Everton coming up as your next 2 Premier League matches. Yes, you have to play Arsenal again. Yes, you have to play Tottenham, but you also have an opportunity to play Brighton. You've got an opportunity to play Villa. You've got an opportunity to play West Ham. You have an opportunity to play all the teams that, if you could pick points up on, that you will actively jump over on the table. And none of the other teams, I mean, Newcastle, I think, has to play, they have to play United in addition to playing Tottenham twice along with Brighton. So, I mean, there's points lost most likely on both sides there. I mean, United also has to play Arsenal, Brighton, and Newcastle. Like, none of these sides has a real great run into the end of the season. I would say ours is one of the most favorable of those vying for a top 6 spot at this moment. And so, like, just do the damn thing. Do the damn thing, Chelsea. Get it across the line, because it's right there in front of you to take.
It's crunch time. I think the most matches played are 31 by a handful of teams. Most teams are on 30 and we're on 29. It looks like us. Yeah, we have us. Yeah, we're the lowest, fewest amount of matches played. There's between 7 and 9 matches left. There's not a lot of time. It is the 4th of April. All right. We are at the business end of the season. So if there can be some kind of mad chase down at the end, like it is time to have it. But again, I think we're really feeling like this is much more of a, we got a bit lucky today. Let's revel in that. And that's exactly what I do when we get to the other side. So thank you to the sponsors, and we'll be right back. One thing I do just want to kind of wrap that last part about, though, Nick, is doesn't it feel good to beat a Ten Hag side? Doesn't it feel good to beat Bruno Fernandes? Doesn't it feel good to beat these just, I mean, I find United to be quite a cocky team, even Onana. Like, the level of confidence that cat has, like, bottle it up and sell it, because we could all use it. It was so good in the end to not have to worry about the gold bridge clips, to not worry about all these other, personalities and things like that. And to be like, you know what? We're having a shit season and we beat you. I'm reveling. I really am.
Yeah, but are you reveling as hard as Joe Cole was looking for Rio Ferdinand after the game? Because
Sure
talking about
wasn't.
some reveling. Oh boy, Joey let him know.
Dripping in revel.
oh man, that if you go to the TNT Instagram, they have a wonderful clip of Joe Cole losing his mind and then looking at Rio Ferdinand. I was hoping they put the Curb Your Enthusiasm music when they showed Rio and they did the zoom in. Bum 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 ba-da-da-dum. Yeah. So honest to God, this is such a weird game that it's like you should almost expect the unexpected this year with Chelsea. And there was a big point, I think like the 80th minute or so, where I was like, oh man, at full time, this stadium's gonna they're gonna let it rip. Like I was anticipating something really bad for the playing staff and the manager, and I'm sure whoever was in the owner's box tonight. Like it was teeming, and I think at the end of the day, you get through on pure vibes because you have one of the best players in the world right now on your team somehow, and thanks to Joe Shields for scouting one of the best players, not young players, one of the best players in the world. His stats are absurd, and he is the only reason why you're not in 15th or below right now. Like the whole world's on his shoulders, Dan.
He's phenomenal. I think someone asked us on Twitter before the recording, like, is this the best 47 million pounds that Chelsea have spent? If we're saying exactly 47 million pounds, I would say yes, is absolutely the exact 47 million pounds that have been best spent by Chelsea Football Club that I can recall. There's been some really good purchases that Chelsea have made over the eons, as it were. But
Conte,
this one,
Aspi,
Conte, Aspi,
Eden Hazard, obviously.
Gary Cahill was a really great value buy. I mean, Ivanovic, another good one. Like, it's been some really good ones.
I love that in today's market, 47 million is a steal. Like they went to the old Dollar Tree and got themselves a Cole Palmer, class 47 mil.
He is nothing short of exceptional in this side for this team, living in this moment, having the swagger necessary to having the character in the moment to say, call upon me. I mean, the fact that when he scored the goal, he went over to Poch, like he knows how important this result was to the team, to his fellow players, the manager, to the supporters. Like, again, guy who grew up rooting for Manchester United, who went to City's academy, who comes to Chelsea, who gets the opportunity to shove it in their faces. Just what a night. Like, what an absolute night for him and for all of us to get to be supporting him. I know you had to plant this terrible seed, Nick, before we started recording. Like, where you're like, oh, in 2 years, he won't even be here because Real Madrid will come in with this big offer. You shut your mouth. You shut your dirty mouth.
It's true.
He needs to stay.
You should. Yap the trap. Look, the whole like back-to-back 10 scores, like anyone can do it against Burnley. Again, to do it against United in this situation where like there's so much pressure around this team. Like I don't think we can really state that strongly enough with the players. I know we're all frustrated with the players, but you can be sure that they feel the pressure and they know that there's pressure there. Cole Palmer is just it's on him. Win or lose, well, not really the lose part. If we win, it's on him. He's creating chances. I think he had 8 shots and created a bunch more. Like what he's putting up from a numbers perspective. Sometimes it's a bit greedy, but I mean, Nick, we're all watching March Madness right now. You play the hot hand, right? Sometimes you let the greedy player shoot a deep three because they're just full of confidence and on fire, and it may not go in. But when they're just at that level and playing that way, you just have to take those shots where he's forcing it and it gets blocked and things like that, or whatever it may be, because that quite honestly, he's the guy.
I mean, it's so obvious that his teammates know that he's the guy. Like, look at the passing patterns in this game. Big old line over to Cole Palmer. Every breakaway to Cole Palmer, right? Poor old Mudryk made 100 runs tonight, didn't get one pass because Cole Palmer's on the other side. I mean, like, Enzo couldn't look to the left to save his life. There was no looking left on any occasion, whether it was Jackson or Mudryk. It was absolutely, but he's earned it, right? The results are there. He has the data and he has the eye test to back it up. It's insane. Like, was he like perfect on the night? No. Like, I thought there was a period in the second half where he was kind of a little all over the place and forcing it. And we've seen, I think, the pressure get to him a little bit in games this season where he's like he knows it's like either me or nothing, like that sort of vibe. But at the end of the day, he got called up again, 2 pressure penalty situations, 2 conversions. Let's admit it, a wayward shot that gets deflected in, whatever, doesn't matter.
Got to take the shot to make it, though.
Who else is taking the shot and making it? Nobody. I mean, Jackson's done okay this year. He has some goals. Gallagher's coming around on the goal scoring, but like, you look at just total production. I mean, the stat packs here, you can read it, but like, it's so obvious, Dan, to me that his teammates are this is what Eden Hazard had. Like, I'm not saying it's Eden Hazard. I'm just saying the amount of attention that he attracts and the amount of attention that his teammates give him and license they give him is pretty damn accurate.
I mean, he drew a ton of fouls. And so I think the one thing I'll be looking for is how do Poch and the other players figure out a way to either enforce helpfully, like potentially do a little bit more like what Connor did, kind of got stuck in occasionally, like he is known to do, to try to help take a little bit of the pressure off of him. Because I think just as we saw with like Eden Hazard, the physical abuse can add up over time as it relates to a player. So I think that's something they'll be interested to keep an eye on. I'm also going to be interested on watching this Golden Boot race through the end of the season, because right now Cole Palmer, on 16 goals in the Premier League, is tied in second place with Mohamed Salah, Dominic Solanke, and Ollie Watkins, 16 apiece. Only 2 behind Erling Haaland. Isn't that something?
So I was looking at the kind of his breakdown this season, right? 16 goals off a 12.39 XG. That's good. Overperforming.
Mm-hmm.
So he's only missed 3 big chances. His goal conversion is 21%, which is good. No free kick goals. Goals from inside the box, he's got 15, and 1 from outside the box. Obviously, the penalties are considered inside the box. No headed goals. 2 with his right foot, 14 with his left. You know what he's going to do. Arjen Robben-esque, and he still finds a way to do it. But only that is what he's created as well, right? He has 6.52 expected assists, but he's got 8 overperforming there as well. He's created 12 big chances, like 1.9 a game. It's just, he's doing it all in attack. And, to be quite honest, if there's more better execution up top, we would be even better, and his stats would be even better, which is quite impressive.
Case in point, Conor Gallagher smacks the post on that. Look, it was a tight angle, to be fair to Connor, but like,
it's actually a good shot off the angle.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent shot. But again, like, if that goes in, just the pass into Connor was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And that's not the first time that's happened this season. Like, we are not clinical in our finishing. Cole Palmer is clinical. The rest of the team, very much less so. And like, it's one of those deals where those 8 should be a lot more.
He is 1 goal or assist away from matching Juan Mata's contributions in 2011-12. So he's total at 31 right now in 36 appearances. Juan Mata was at 32 in 54 appearances. Cole Palmer is not going to have the same number of games to actually get his done. He's got 10 to 11 matches left throughout the remainder of the season, given
9.
the... No.
He has 9.
maybe 10.
Dan, I don't think so.
But
Dan,
I
respectfully
think
disagree on 10.
Very easily going to get past that 32 number here in the next few matches. And I think probably ends up somewhere in the 37 range for the season, which is just going to be absolutely phenomenal for his first season as a true top flight footballer.
He's 21, and this is what did he have? 3 senior appearances ahead of this season. I mean, Mohamed Salah's in his 30s, right? Dominic Solanke is at least upper 20s. I have no idea about Ollie Watkins. But if that's your company, and obviously Erling Haaland is young, but he's the unicorn in European football, world football. That's some really good company. And again, his ceiling is so high. It's the production rate is so impressive.
It's also
deadline day signing. Deadline day, Nick. He came in right at the very end.
I also think it's like so much more than his just like pure stats, though. Like, this is what I'm saying with the eye test. Like, he is not the fastest guy in the field, right? He's not the most physical guy in the field. This was Juan Mata's, you brought up Juan Mata earlier, who, I think most Chelsea fans just adored for his skill and clinicality and all of the wonderful things that he contributed to the club, including a Champions League. I remember, like, they put Wan-Bissaka on Mudryk tonight, and I was like, why? Like, the other guy is the real threat, and it was wild to me how many times Cole Palmer would easily get past Dalot. Easily, like, skill move, turn, feint, whatever the move was, he would easily get past Dalot. And then who did he have to face? Harry Maguire. Like, that was his next line of defense. And I was like, Ten Hag, is this thing on? Like, what are you doing? How is it possible? Like, your best defender is on the other side. And look, I give Mudryk props for the way he's been playing lately, but like, he's not the guy with 16 and 8. Like, the other guy is. Like, how? I'm not telling you how to coach your team, but like, you think that's the way?
Ten Hag being confronted with reality at the end of the match was also quite wonderful, because, as we've highlighted multiple times now, that side has absolutely bamboozled their way through this season with farcical results and gotten every call the opposite way that we have gotten this season in terms of a bounce of a ball, an errant pass, injury issues. And the fact that he went out there and said that they should have won the game and gotten more from it, icing on all of it, my friends.
Can I be honest? I don't think he's that far off. Like,
oh, come on.
I don't. For 70 minutes, Dan, come on. Like, as optimistic as even you are, it's not as if we played well tonight. Be real. Come on.
We gifted them a lot. We let them back into that game. We should have been running away with it. And so for him to be like, oh yeah, we should have taken more from that. Come on.
But I mean, that's the problem, though, is again, I think Sam even tweeted again from like, it's just the self-inflicted wounds that this team continues to inflict upon itself is, it's actually to the point where it's confusing how we manage to do it in different ways. Even with like a player like Caicedo today, it's just someone new. You never can predict where the rabbit's going to hop out of the hat. But United didn't like claw their way back in. We let them in. That's the most frustrating thing. And so
I'm talking more about the second half, because they outplayed us for most of the second half. I mean, this is not, I don't think, can really even be debated how bad we were for most of the second half. Like, it is what it is. And like, I think two final points, because I know we're getting close to wrapping this one. I mean, the first one is I think you should leave footy account on Twitter with the, you can't just rely on Cole Palmer every match. And it's the meme is, with all due respect, it's worked 150 times. It's like, it was so gold. It's beautiful. The other thing, though, and it is really I know we talked about the defense earlier, but it is not good enough, man. There were some, and I respect Disasi, and I will give him a little bit more slack than the other defenders who have struggled this year, just because he has been available for the entire year. And in this team, that is an achievement in and of itself. But the celebrating after you give the ball away and then get like, my dog, I know you're full of passion, and I loved it when it was against City and we weren't giving up goals, but we gave up 3 shit ones tonight. You were beaten twice, so perhaps just a little awareness on what's going on in the situation. Also, these two played together at Monaco. They look like they've never seen each other before. Badiashile and Disasi.
I might have had better midfield pairings covering them when they were playing at Monaco, to be fair.
I hope not. There's 200 million in front of them.
I don't know.
One of those midfielders currently plays for Real Madrid and does a very good job.
Yeah.
What I would say is the Disasi, man, that's how you get promoted, Nick. Clean up your own mistakes. You look like a hero.
Look, best
look
ability,
at everything I'm doing.
It's the best ability is availability, and and that's why I'm going to give him a little bit of slack. He has not been very good recently. Badiashile looks like a shell of whatever he was last year before he got injured. I have no idea what's going on there. Cucurella doing Cucurella things all night, jumping into transition opportunities when he doesn't need to. He was in midfield many times for reasons that passed understanding. Gusto was very bad on the counterattacks as well. That situation, we cannot get Levi Colwill back soon enough to start to
forgot about him.
Calm that down. Yeah.
Gusto did stop playing defense at one point, to be fair. There was a stretch of the game where he just said, not my problem.
I was like, he's also like, he grabbed his hammy against Burnley, and I was like, Garnacho's pretty quick. Like, that's
not a great assignment, matchup. not a fat, like, enough turnaround time. I mean, probably could have used until the weekend to get right.
Yeah, no doubt.
Alfie for Sheffield, might as well, right? All right, well, let's look at Dan of the match. Here we go.
That's Alfie 2026 to you, sir.
That is true. Contract extension. Sure, you guys covered it. Dan of the match, right? We don't always get these, so it's fun when we do. You had 3 options, but did you really?
It was really 2 options, and it should have just been 1 because Cole Palmer was the only answer on the night. Look, 45, almost 46% of people said Cole was the option. 41% said Palmer. And then 14% went with the joke answer, which was VAR and penalties, which if you went to, I don't know, the largest Reddit for United fans, every top comment was about the officiating, the soft penalties, and how they didn't get anything on the day out of it. So, I enjoyed that.
Who had Cucurella and Madueke drawing penalties tonight? Anybody? Anybody at all? No? Okay. Interesting.
Check the prop bet line. Make sure there's nothing.
If you had Cucurella to draw a penalty, you are a millionaire right now. Well done.
Some of the other results from this week. By the way, this whole midweek round totally caught me off guard. I was not ready for matches on Tuesday. But if we look here, Newcastle 1, Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 3, Fulham 1, Burnley 1, Wolves 1, Bournemouth 1, Palace 0, West Ham 1, Tottenham 1, Brentford, Brighton 0-0, Arsenal 2, Luton 0, Man City 4, Villa 1, Liverpool 3, Sheffield United 1. What a boring week. I know Villa and City were 1-1 at the break. I think Tottenham had to come back to get their point, but I think this is exactly what you would expect for midweek games, knowing that you have games on either side of the weekend as well late in the season. Is you're not going to get your best product on the pitch, which the Premier League should know by now.
We got a win, and the teams above us in the table got draws. What we need every single game week between now and the end of the season.
And that's why we moved up the table. I mean, like I said, nothing really, I think, is super, wild for us. The biggest implication is just the title race, Nick, right? Liverpool first, Arsenal second, Man City third, Villa still in fourth. they all have some kind of variation of won for the last 5 between Liverpool and Arsenal. So Liverpool on 70 points, Arsenal 68, Man City 67, and they're all on 30 matches played. So, I mean, that's a 3-horse race. It's going to come down to the end. I don't remember the last time we had like a very much a real 3-horse race for the title. It's usually 1 or 2 teams, and then like the 3rd and 4th are trailing. But like this is it, because Villa are in 4th on 59 points. I mean, they're 8 points back of City at this point. This is very much those 3.
Yeah, I'm really surprised City have kind of they struggled with Liverpool and Arsenal. I really thought they'd beat them and just coast to the title. I still think they are going to win the title. For those who are calling Erling Haaland a League 2 football player, like I if you would have given me that as a like, hey, will someone like Gary Neville or whoever said it, Roy Keane or whoever, say he's a League 2 football, I would have not even guessed that. It's wild to me. But yeah, I think even being behind, Liverpool will have to, their chickens will have to come home to roost at some point. I can't imagine they're going to continue this, and Arsenal are who they are. So I'm gonna be weird and take the 3rd place team right now to win the league again.
City only have 1 top 6 matchup left to play. When you look at it, Liverpool has 2 on their calendar. And so, I mean, I guess that would be something to kind of keep in mind. And hey, who knows? If we got back into the top 6 and played Arsenal, I mean, they could have to face another top 6 team.
Well,
if we win a game at the Emirates like we won today, I will take my shirt off and run down the street. I would be so fucking happy.
I mean, us disrupting Arsenal's chances at winning the league this season would be poetry.
There's no doubt.
And we're just stupid enough to be able to do it. Like
we're just crazy enough to make that happen.
It's just, yeah, it's one of those years where it's like, yeah, the idiot team in 10th.
Don't threaten the Premier League scriptwriters with a good time, Nick, because that is what we're doing.
No doubt. We jumped up to 10th, right? So if we can't have a party, we might as well spoil someone else's party. We've done it before at Nazard, a la Tottenham Hotspur. Remember quite well. But 29 played, 43 points. Are we 43 points? This table's hard to read. We are at 43 points, so we're level with Brighton. We have a +3 goal difference to their +5. So, I mean, we're right next to each other. We play Sheffield. They play Arsenal. Newcastle, who's in 8th, play Fulham, which you don't really know Fulham you're going to get. They're hitting a bicycle and scoring goals at the weekend, but then shit the bed midweek. West Ham are in 7th. They're on 45 points, but they play Wolves, which you'd imagine they would beat, even though they would have had some struggles. So I think like any movement up at the weekend, assuming we can get 3 points off of Sheffield, would be considered a success in my mind. But again, it's there, right? Those are the teams like right ahead of us. United are in 6th and they play Liverpool, but we can't get to them right away. So, man, how many times have we said this? If we can just get the result, what every week. Big, unruly ask we've had. But here we are again. If we can just get a result, move up another place or 2, it starts to feel a little bit better. Pressure starts to release. Things click right at the very end of the season. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it really would be. I will believe it when I see it, because Sheffield United are just kind of shithouse enough right now under Wilder that I don't think Sunday is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. But they're also pretty bad, so who knows?
20th place, 15 points, won 3, drawn 6, lost 21, -52 goal difference.
I did go on the Red Half of Sheffield podcast to do a preview. And I think they were hoping to upset Liverpool, which I thought was a big ask. I was like, surely we're a more attainable target for you. But even then, they really haven't done much this year. 15 total points. So, difficult to see that coming across the line. But, again, string coupled together, it's all we're asking for. It's shouldn't be too much with United. Well, Burnley, United, Sheffield, and Everton.
Yeah, you would hope. Lost 3-1 to Liverpool, drew 3-3 to Fulham, drew 2-2 with Bournemouth, and then lost 6-0 to Arsenal back in the 4th of March. So, again, you just don't really know what you can get out of this team, but lost 5-0 to Brighton, lost 5-0 to Villa. They're good at bleeding goals. What a luxury it would be if we could go ahead and put a few past them. But hey, I think that's a podcast. I think we did it, gentlemen. Anything that I've missed?
You did a great job on your first cap back. I'm really proud of you. I think you put in the effort. You really grinded it out. And there were a couple moments there, where it got a little tense, but you're able to reel it back in, and we're proud of you.
You guys are only going to see this on YouTube, but he started grabbing his hammy about a third of the way through the podcast, and I was worried about him, but he gutted it out, and that's really what
Switching
matters.
up the gloves was a real unique choice, but that is what the goalkeeper union does. They just, they do things a little differently than the rest of us.
It's actually a calf cramp. I was hoping I could get a little bit of help stretching her out. Yeah. But, we got through it. Ladies and gentlemen.
William, get over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back. I will continue to jump on in as we continue to settle. But tell you what, we get some good results like this. It's going to make it a lot easier. So anyways, you know how to stay involved, stay engaged, get in the Discord, hang out with everybody ahead of the weekend. We got more points to pick up. Huge shout out to Cole Palmer for saving our bacon. But until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.